Testing. Testing. Took a minute for microphone to be recognized. I apologize. Currently looking at a few different areas of concern regarding 3 different continents: Africa, South America, Australia. In that order. Right now, we have Senegal pulled up and Nigeria. Nigeria is having fires in the far northeast, right here. We'll look at those fires in detail later. But for the rest of Africa, probably still some fires burning in Mozambique, but nothing probably too alarming. West Nigeria is millions of. It has wildfires in such densely populated areas. It becomes a concern even if the brush fires. Won't get a good look here, so fine. Coming in, the fires. Plot. These fires have been a when you have these river channels, even if the river is low, but still gonna be vegetation. When the fire comes down, it's going to go into a valley, into a slope, into a side, something where the wind is going to change itself counterclockwise, comes back up, using its momentum. Smoke over the river, drops hot particles the other side of the river, channel, ditch. But fire doesn't avoid water, it steers away from it. There's a lot of vegetation and the brush burn. This is Muna Kambaro highway system. I'd agree. Southeast is Bama. Some dangerous fires look extremely close. Using again this river system, all river systems have slopes. The fire is going to be, you can see right here. Pretty big scorches. But these fires, they're burning all over the place. A pretty big fire. Let me use it. Station, lush, brown. You see it browning out. more brown. Now the fire here. Fire scorched earth in the top left and left. All in a day. Let's measure it just to see as the bird flies. 23.5 kilometers, roughly. Looks like it involved streets, some road systems, rail systems. A lot of connections. See a fire burning probably one of the access out. You can see how fire crosses over a river. Keeps making these familiar arc shapes. Burning out the other side. And then you'll get left with a much larger burn. Fires, when they cross over, or when they catch fire over on the other side of the river, it's going to continue burning true. So you see that until it had this turn here, it hit this area right here, it just exploded and expanded with fire. Eventually burned back up. Road systems also down here. Fire probably first originated, but you are to tell, since it's all just within one day, we'd look at it in a different way, but it's just something to keep an eye on. Burning near some pretty big cities. Nigeria. Earth. All these little spot fires here, these wildfires, brush fires, can connect pretty quickly. You see down here? Fire expands. Just about any direction, there's going to be fuel to accelerate it. And it can gain 20, 30, 50 kilometers per night, as we've seen. When the conditions are right for a wildfire to occur, and it does, it's going to take all advantage of all available fuel that it has available. Immediately consume, keep driving forward. A lot of burned areas. A lot of drought, as you saw just the last few days. This This lush foliage turned quite brown. So there was a fire. Gone. Right up here. It's not a big fire yet. But grow, get larger. These fires are pretty large. All around the river system though, and it'd be difficult to access with heavy machinery. It takes some airborne, it would take cannons. I don't know if it would be worth this land burning out, because I don't think it will burn out. Taking advantage of the river system, it's going to keep using its own momentum to looping out of it, looping around it, and setting everything on fire behind it, in front of it, across from it. River channels are just great accelerant. Pardon me. That's Nigeria. Now there are some fires in the area, like you see down here. Can't happen. Fire can easily race the entire length. Which would be 2 3/4 kilometers. You can expand in any direction. So is it beneficial anymore to let a fire burn out if you have opportunity to put it out? But when it's such in a smoke sensitive area, putting people's lives out there, that must be hell. Every fire, there's a different fire every 500 feet. This is Senegal. I moved over onto Senegal. Senegal looks to be more brush fiery, not large fires to speak of yet, just many, many, many fires. They're burning all throughout Senegal. So many spot fires. These spot fires can just converge. They share each other's fuel. One fire that's done going this way, all the fuel behind it is still smoldering. We'll have another fire that will meet up with it that will cross paths, interlock almost. Share fuel. Fires are just not going to stop burning. Get to the point that it's possible mining operation, which is a mining tailing dam. You get mine fires that's permanent. We recover from those. All along Senegal. Lush beauty. Seeing dozens and dozens of these fires all over the place. Some burning hotter than others, but you see all the scorched earth. turned a way of looking at it from bands. 1211 core for false color detection for urban centers. So another way to be able to detect fires, especially when it's this large. Shows you all the burnt land. Previously burnt land is more faded. All these fires are pretty much within the last couple of days. Getting pretty big. They continue to burn and smolder and adopt new strategies as they burn towards these river systems, ditches, and valleys that will act as a wind tunnel that will cause a conflagration. All of this lush greenery is completely struck down. There's just pestilence of hot, sick wind, ash, and soot covering everything that's not above water. Coming down here, fans as well, both ways. These fires can get out of control very quickly, as they look to be. When they're just a few hundred feet from each other, that's 20 kilometers. Some of these fires have runs that are longer than 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers. You'll have two that meet due to the smoke that makes a support structure of smoke, allows it to transit smoke back and forth. Otherwise, the smoke's not moving. Back to Senegal and looking at. Even on this, you can see just how many fires there are. It's all flowing towards the river. Dozens and dozens of fires burning all throughout Senegal. This severe fire outbreak all throughout Senegal and the northwest, west. These fires go on pretty long. But this is still Senegal. There are fires burning all over the place. Some near villages, cities like this here. Boingle? Bama. Bamba, I'm sorry. Bamba. A big fire burning towards that, because that city is pretty small. There are fires burning throughout all of these cities that would probably need to put their resources together to tackle some of these fires because they're happening literally just all over the place at any time within the last couple of days. Some of these fires are small, but they grow rapidly. A lot of fuel, a lot of drought. Just going through Senegal, we must have glanced at maybe 100 different fires. Like this one looks pretty severe. Here, there's a lot of smoke coming from this. These fires happen fast, catch up together fast, and smoke. Smoke mends itself up to the point it can reach, causing these fires burn at a hotter level going across. These fires, there's over 100 fires. Some of these fires have very large perimeter burns. See, they're always going to burn towards the valley, cliff, a ditch. We're looking for slopes, and the wind slopes down. Does a lot of funny things. It also does cooling. A lot of the rapid fire growths are due to the way it manipulates, fire manipulates around, especially here. Get this howling wind that goes through the channel that acts as a vortex pulling in heat, speeding up the wind even more. Some of these, I wouldn't say there's a advisory for Senegal, but the amount of smoke that we're seeing already all over the that Shala baby. Probably butchering these names, I apologize. Nakama. But it's the fires that is talking about here. You can see here, this fire burnt out, but still be smoldering. Fire could be related here, as a wind could blow it a few kilometers north. Want to find wildfires in Africa? Follow the river system channels. We'll find land as burnt as it. Lush, green, vibrant world to darkening brown. Still, you see all the smoke. These conditions are very, very detrimental because these fires are just going to run all over the place as they have been. Smoke all over. Fire after fire. Even though there's not a huge fire that stands out, there's still several hundred fires burning throughout Senegal. Some pretty big wildfires burning in Nigeria. Okay, I think that's it for Africa right now. Circumstance fires you have all here, right here burning. Area right here. Northeast section of this, you have it burning all throughout the country of Senegal. It's a lot of dust comes off the continent, especially between that and Morocco, and dozens of fires every 500 meters or so that we're seeing. Definitely have again like now this looks like smoke immediately. Now this is the Bolivia. South America. Looks like it's all smoke here. As you can see, there's quite a few wildfires burning here as well. Smoldering. Cloud coverage, but this looks like it's just going in Paraguay. Like there is going to be wildfires in Paraguay. It might be coming out of Bolivia, southern Bolivia. Speaking of Paraguay, zoom in on Paraguay. Wow. Zoomed in on Paraguay and a whole mess of fires right there. Okay. That is a wildfire. You can tell by the fire and looks to be a pretty wild area. Be agricultural, but hopefully it's not due to being agriculture. It's why it's burning. Burn bans should be in place for everything, including cultural bans. Not burn fields. Fire looks pretty healthy. The building itself up a pretty neat little perimeter. Probably be grows each time. Randomly fire and pepper. They're not big enough to make a time lapse out of, but it's there. Further south as well. Smoke heading south. Now scrolling back up to Bolivia, state of Beni. Down here you see Trinidad. Dozens and dozens of fires exist all around. I say dozens because you might have some perimeters like this. You'll have one wildfire here, one side here, one side here. So fire that comes out here, there are just numerous active fronts on these fires burning all throughout Bolivia, all throughout the state of Beni. There is plenty of fuel. As you can see, it crosses over a river. Pretty, pretty, uh, pretty big fires have been burning around the area. Bolivia just is not seeing any sort of rest lately. For the last month or two, it's been off and on. When these fires begin, they are ferocious. Plenty of, plenty of crowning, plenty of crossovers between river channels and crowning. Fire at your feet. Fire can move a lot faster in these areas due to shrubberies, trees, much taller grasses. But same as anywhere else, when it's drought stricken, conditions are right, and the smoke aids pestilence or blight. Especially with smoke falling in an area, poisons everything. You get a lot of local ecology that suffers as a result of this being introduced. That smoke needles away at the health of the plant until it's thick, until it's brown, until it's decaying, until it's combustible. And then the fire can use that to continue on its way. Tandem. For a fire to continue its way, it would have to earmark going ahead of time, so you'll see this beforehand. fires all throughout Bolivia. Go over to Paraguay. Roll up to Bolivia. Fires that stand out. One moment. I am back. Now we see a lot of weather, a lot of smoke area due to there being, but I don't see anything that's massively worrying burning yet. The state of Bolivia, sovereign state of Beni. A lot of cloud coverage. But as you can see, smoke eventually finds a way and finds itself. Smoke is sticky. Smoke's gonna get pulled and pushed and lofted and lobbed around. But smoke doesn't transit on its own unless acted upon. So much smoke is here waiting to be acted upon that is at a lower elevation. Tell smoke showing off the range topology. Start getting into more of the Andes mountain. The other side of the it goes into the Amazon, Mato Grosso. Those fires we didn't notice when we scanned over Mato Grosso Sol. But yep, there are possible field fires burning here. This is what we're talking about, how these fires eventually meet. Smoke here, here, here. Meet, bind, whirl, and they twist. And every time that more of this smoke here twirls and twists, you're going to have fading. So it's more like just a bunch of cogs transiting smoke through a line. And by mending all this together, smoke allows a fire to creep around. As underneath, it's going to be much hotter Gonna drive away moisture, keep away moisture. More importantly, most importantly, it's gonna keep away moisture. So if a place is experiencing drought and a great deal of smoke inflicted upon it, the area even, you're gonna see a lot more things drying out quickly, as we saw in the last few examples within Bolivia and significant fires burning in Senegal. Dozens, if not hundreds. Very alarming, but no fire that really stands out as a mega fire, major fire, but there's always the exception to how you would even call it, because if it's burned over 2,000 square kilometers, but it didn't burn all at one time, it burned segment this day and then segments next day, and then half the other side with the next week. After it's all done, that whole area be a boneyard of all just one fire, or they're just going to have each individual fire that flares up that is detectable as satellite its own name. Because all these fires are getting too large and complex. They're meeting with other fires, merging. Usually by smoke. Smoke is going to be acting as a support bridge for all that fire to crawl under. Or heat, because the heat's going to be earmarked first before fire. Though there is fuel, it might not be state that'd be useful for the fire to use. I have a lot of moisture left in the grass. That's hope for rain. That was getting more into see any major fires that are standing out. Any fire in the air would be pretty major, but a lot of cloud coverage, obscurity, cloud obscure morph of San Javier. A time lapse of Bolivia. Here, the river system next to it is pretty burned as well. Fire, you drop off some particle, several hundred particles, going to set things on fire. They're dry, they're laying down, that just get pushed down by the particulate and falling down. Wilt. It's gonna make the plants wilt. Ooh. Here. The next slide. 1017. Next slide. A little variation, as you can see. Spot that was unburned. Not burned. Get to this area here. This fire, make a sharp turn. These fires can burn fast, big expansions based on if it's able to abuse these rivers and slopes, which it loves to do. Since we're by a river, what happens is you have a fire that's burning down, and it reaches a point that if it continues forward, it's going to hit in the water. But it's on a slope, so the air is going to be moving at a different orientation that it was up here. So if the air is blowing it away, it's going to be a curl. That's going to cause a blowback. Fire is going to use its own momentum. It's going to go so you see the fire heading towards ditch, river channel. I'm going to keep making these signs, union signs, and then you have the other side of pollutants and other hazardous materials and hotter materials that can be 700 degrees Fahrenheit. You can have a really healthy fire that coughs up a lot of lighter material that just embers, just doesn't go out immediately. Especially it's picked up in a lot of smoke, a lot of heat is being transferred as well in the transit of the smoke. Pretty incredible burns. This is a lot of Trinidad is burning all around the place. Pretty significant fires that are burning all along. These fires are free to burn as they wish. Doesn't look like they're being controlled, and down here it gets to be really smoky, getting closer to the Andes Mountain on the south side. Fires on the Amazon side, and you got some fires on the Andes Mountain side, southern Bolivia. Okay, so that's Bolivia. I believe it is now daytime in Australia. Let's see a few areas, especially over here, off of Rafa. Looks like an area we'll investigate a little bit. But where the worst place fires would be are down here, south of Perth. Any of these are fires. Possible fires, but again, this is all drought. One of these fires can take off and run kilometers in a single night. Queensland got some much needed rains that caused it to gorge itself moisture. Good. A lot of these fires early in the day do not look like they are a problem. The problems are going to be are in Northern Territory, Western Australia side. Keep looking at this as it continues to evolve. Have some fires that are in the South Australian side, some fires on the Australian side, and some are burning. They're fairly large compared to what we just saw as well. They're fairly large. Even though it might be lower burning fire, like bush fires. Smoke is what's going to allow it to achieve much further gain than under normal circumstances, because everything's in drought right now. Light up. Not so much here. It's all drought. Everything that's not drought is still drought. Not extreme or significant enough compared to those areas that would just be devastating if fires were not getting. Fires that look like they were in South of Perth look like they keep flaring up, but nothing serious fire. Yep, that's a fire. That's what we were seeing on satellite. That's not a good. Not a good. That's Hopefully it's controlled and contained. Seeing this ground right here, seeing some pretty massive fires that are flaring up now on the southwest side of Western Australia. These are looks bad. Looks like a freight train from hell. My train. Significant smoke billowing. All this here. A threat. Further smoke. It's considered a smoke sensitive area. And it is heading dangerously close into the city. These. El Serpentine. A lot of villages. These ranges. Valleys. But there's also a lot of people here. Copeland, Della, would be. With the current extreme drought, these fires could run very quickly across if the winds are right, which the southern side of Australia is going to have cooler winds, slower winds, so they're not as aggravating as they are in the Northern Territory and the north part of Western Australia. Any fire there east of Perth going into South Australia, you get a extremely strong foot. Nice to see that the fires look contained. It is a pretty big fire, and it is rampaging southwest of these. Now here are the fires that are burning. Big fires. Now the carbon monoxide levels weren't insane. They weren't burns right here. Yeah, there'll be some fires that are burning across the landscape between territory and Western Australia. Quite a bit still are burning. This is another example when I say that these merge. And all of this counts as a fire, that counts as a fire, that counts as a fire, that counts as a fire. So they're gonna merge and create a greater fire. It's not happening all at one time. But then you are left with a 2,000 square kilometer perimeter of Earth. Over territory, down to Alice Springs and see how Alice Springs is faring. Wait for it to load and finalize the scans. There we go. Well, that's horror. That's horror. Horror. That's syllable. Ouchies. Here? Horror show. Not to say. Alice Springs is right here. Population of 25,000 people in the settlement. These fires are dangerously close. See if we have anything just on the 7th. Nope. Senegal. We'll use this to get a better idea of the footprints of some of these fires. This is what I mean by these runs could just go 20, 40, 50 kilometers. They'll break out both sides. These fires will catch up eventually. So this whole area is engulfed. Looks more like this. The deep fires burning over here on the inside. Very, very, very bright fires that are burning. This is the merge of two fires here. Not really an Ouroboros or anything. It's not eating itself. It's joining forces. It's going through fuel that wasn't burnt the first time around, but these fires are burning. Fires are burning on a fence line or something. Strange looking. This fire burning right here on this line. Looks like a fuse was lit. Very strange, but it could be a power line or a pipeline or something. Some kind of line, but it's look at this fire here. It's smoldering. I haven't seen fire like this today. It's got to be over 700 degrees Fahrenheit at least. Some extreme burns. Very textured, detailed bushfires are currently engulfing the area. Area 2, that's how these fires meet. How these will meet. And all this here, that as well. So it's a lot of very fast moving fires that have a lot of fuel, a lot of drought stricken conditions, and a lot of low lying areas with similar vegetation, fields. This is looking rough. Fire season's been since August, and right now there's a lot of smoke, a lot of carbon monoxide, a lot of strange looking burns that look like they're probably burning out across on like line. Some of these fires are looking real. All that burned here. Fairly significant fires burning. All the way up north to Broome. Side, and you get all these spot fires. Let's look at Alice Springs. fires are burning dangerously close to Alice Springs. We've seen some cities, villages, settlements, very close fires, but nothing like this. This fire could really run the city so fast. We've seen fires today that went over 200 kilometers. A square, just one direction. Then it widens out and it burns all the fuel around it as it continues its variation. Uh, Variation of the local ecology. Production of fire, heat, smoke drives all the moisture away. Even if it rained right now, fires look hot. A lot of smoldering, a lot of very molten texture. Better representation how much fire there actually areas that you'll see. You'll just see a band of it. A lot of material is burning, smoldering. Make a time lapse of this area. This is a massive, massive fire. Or I should say burnt area, not massive fire even. It does have numerous fire points. So dates on the top right side. So 1101, 1st of November to the 4th of November. Until the next day, on the 6th. Close it out and trash it up again. .28 kilometers. 43 kilometers. So each run it does a lot of zigzagging, slopes and overruns. River systems, channels, ditches, like you're seeing right here. Anywhere that it's going to give smoke counterclockwise rotation on its wind, so if wind's blowing over it, goes on a slope, it's going to get some of that backdraft, not backdraft, backwind. It's going to send the fire back up all over again. Pretty ferocious looking fires. This is all just within the last couple of days. 6 yesterday. Massive explosion of smoldering land. Is still very much so. It's still very hot. You can see how brambly everything. Alice Springs definitely in trouble. Again, a different view of this fire that's southeast of Perth. Oop, get off here. here, right here. See how this smoke here bends these two fires together and it makes a support structure of a bridge. Okay. We saw some pretty big fires, pretty big burns, a lot of scorched earth. It's just within the last couple of days of scans between Bolivia, Paraguay, South America, and Senegal and Nigeria, Africa, and Northern Territory and Australia. Massive explosions, fire growth in the last couple of days. Very, very alarming. Just how many times did we see today? Just every fire that was large enough to see on satellite like this had a lot of fuel around. It will burn. I'm gonna hope for the best, but this fire season for Australia especially is looking rough. So is Bolivia, as smoke backs up to the Andes Mountain, creates an enormous smoke-sensitive area, while the north side of it also burns out towards the Amazon and Mato Grosso. These wildfires that are burning throughout Northern Territory are still going to put up a lot of carbon monoxide and a lot of different pollutants that will find their way over to Western Australia, where they'll end up in the Gulf, cycle in the water, and recycle back onto the land. That's what's been happening so far. It's just been a lot of smoke going out. Okay, that is all until next time. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.